Hello, everyone. I'm Mrs. Sponaugle, and welcome to Art at Tomahawk Intermediate. Class is going to look a little different for the time being, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that we can't learn and can't have a great time together. I have some slides that I'm going to share with you so that you can learn about art this year. Let's get started. Okay, so once again, welcome to art class. I'm Mrs. Sponaugle, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things about me. This is my 18th year of teaching, my 16th at Tomahawk. I've been at our school for a long time. I taught 5th grade for the last 15 years, and before that, I taught 3rd and 4th grade for 2 years. I went to school in Berkeley County, and I graduated from Hedgesville High School. I also graduated from Shepherd and WVU. Maybe you know someone or have a brother or sister that's been to those schools. Here's a blast from the past. This was my first day of school ever. This is the first day of kindergarten. And if you couldn't tell, I didn't quite go as planned. I was not very happy by the end of the day. I flipped off the swings. I couldn't open my milk carton at lunch. And because I'm left-handed, the teacher made me use these special scissors, and I got very upset because I did not like the color of them. So that's how my school journey started off. I'm glad that it's gotten a lot better since then. And as you can see, I also liked Minnie Mouse. I'm not only a teacher, I am also a children's book author and illustrator. This is my first book, The Adventures of Berkeley the Bear, and the bear that it's about is sitting there with the book. There's Berkeley. He's a black bear puppet, and there's his buddy Clay the Cardinal. I'm working on my second book, and this is a sneak peek. This is an illustration from my second book. And I'm really looking forward to having this finished here in the next couple months. So this is a glimpse of what it's like to work as an illustrator. This is my easel and my color chart. And I also have a drawing of all of the main characters and a listing of all the colors that go into creating them so they look the same or look consistent. And those are all the pencils that I use, and you can see over on the side there how I kind of have to test things out to see how I want things to look. But that's what goes into being an illustrator, and I look forward to sharing that with you. I didn't go anywhere on vacation this year because of everything that's going on in the world, but last summer I went to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware, and I love going to the beach and walking in the sand and collecting shells. And I also went last year to Louisville, Kentucky. And this is me in the Louisville Slugger Museum where they make the baseball bats. And that bat that I have in my hand is very special because it is a bat used by Mickey Mantle, who was a very excellent baseball player. I'm not into sports, but he was fantastic. And I chose his bat to pose with because he was left-handed, just like me. Some other things that I like are butterflies. Those are some butterflies from my garden in the backyard. And I also love sunflowers. And that picture is from a sunflower field in Pennsylvania last year. I have 2 new members in my family. On April 30th, the last day of April this year, it was pouring rain, and these two little hungry kittens that were soaked through and through from walking in the rain were found in my backyard, and they were just so sweet that I could not let them go. They are my new little kittens. They are a lot of fun. They sure have grown up a lot since this last picture here, because this is Maggie and Molly today. They sure have grown up a lot in the past few months over the summer. They're a lot of fun, but they're going through a destructive stage right now where I've really got to keep a close watch on them because you never know what they're getting into next. And this picture kind of sums up their personalities. Molly is the one here with her tongue open, and this is Maggie, the tabby, right beside of her. They're very sweet, but they can really shake things up too. And this is my 15-year-old kitty, Alexander the Great. He's been with me a long time. I love him very much. He's a good boy, and he's been a good welcome kitty to my little kittens that have really changed the atmosphere at home. So let's go back to talking about art class. Since there's a new teacher for art this year, some rules might be a little bit different. So let's talk about the rules that you'll need to follow in my art class. If you can remember how to spell art, you can remember how to behave in art. A-R-T. A. Always listen to lessons and directions. You'll know what to do if you're paying attention. R. Respect people and property. If you don't want it done to you or your things, don't do it to anyone else. And T. Try your best. Not everybody likes art, just like not everybody likes PE or likes music, but you still need to do your very best when you are in class. Make a good effort. That's what matters most. When we're having class, something that you might hear me say is do the Mona Lisa when I need your attention. And what you see here on the screen is the Mona Lisa, one of the most famous artworks ever created. If you look at Mona Lisa, you see that she's facing forward, her hands are still in her lap, and her mouth is closed. So when you're asked to do the Mona Lisa, I want you to show me that you're paying attention by pretending to be this famous portrait. Do it as quickly as possible, because the sooner that you're listening, the sooner you can move on to the things that you'll really enjoy doing. Another saying that you'll hear me say a lot during art is your hands work best when your mouth is at rest. Art is quiet time. Sometimes we do our best work when we're very focused. But if we're too busy having conversations or focused on other things that maybe are in our desk or that we're thinking about, we can't get our work done. So your hands will do the best work in art, create the best things, if we're not talking and having conversations at this time. There'll be a time to talk and a time to ask questions, but it's not when we need to complete our work. So I will say it again before I move on. Your hands work best when your mouth is at rest. Art is quiet time. So what will you need for art class this year? Things are very different than any other year. We can't share supplies and we can't collect them either. So I've decided to make this as simple as possible. These are the things you need for art class. You will need something to write with. I prefer a pencil. Yes, you can write in ink or pen. However, you can erase those things, and sometimes when we do art, we make mistakes. So a pencil is best, and it doesn't matter if it's mechanical or a regular number 2 pencil, something to write with. You will need something to write on. Some type of paper. It can be plain blank white paper. It can be notebook paper. It could be a notepad. It won't matter. Just something to write on. Some of the best artists in the world got started doodling on scrap paper, so it really won't matter that much what you choose to use. You will also need something to color with, and this is completely up to you. You can use crayons, you could use colored pencils, you could use markers. It's your choice. Personally, I would prefer colored pencils, but that's up to you. And sometimes you may not want to color your work because you prefer the look of things in black and white. And I respect that. Some people like to show as much detail as possible they do with just pencil. So that'll be okay as well. You will always need to have your iPad for when we have art class. Reason why? Your lesson materials will be placed on Schoology. All the videos, all the directions, the pictures, the projects, everything you need to know will be on Schoology. We're completely paperless, with maybe a couple exceptions. But your work is on your iPad. So you'll need to have your iPad at your desk. There's a saying at Tomahawk that we've used for years, and it's apples up when your iPad is not in use. So if you're listening to me, or you need to be following directions before you get started, and you don't need to have your iPad out at the moment, it needs to be apples up, which means your iPad is closed and it's turned over until it's time to use it. I'm not the only teacher that will use apples up. You will hear that a lot this year. We may be going completely paperless at some point when it comes to supplies. There are some iPad apps that we can use for you to do some of the activities, some of the artwork we're making, and you won't need something to color with, something to draw on, or something to write with, because you'll be able to do it directly from your iPad. Everyone should have the Notes app on their iPad. There are several things you can do with Notes. It's a very good app to know how to use. But one thing you can do is that you can draw on it, and I am going to make a tutorial to show you how. You also may have the app called Sketches on your iPad. You might have it in self-service and may have to put it on there at some point, but that should be installed or pushed out to your iPad. I'm going to make a tutorial for this as well. But by knowing where these apps are on your iPad and how to use them, if we have to go completely remote again for our class, we'll be able to use those apps and you won't have to worry about if you have a pencil or have paper at home. So what can you do before our next class? We're going to talk about that now. Okay, whoops. All right, before our next class, what I would like you to do is to get on Schoology and check out your art classroom. There are several tutorials on there for like how to use the Bitmoji classroom that's on Schoology and how to access the folders to get your directions and lesson information. I would like you to explore Schoology and see what you can find on there and go through all of the materials that I have listed for you to listen to and watch under the first week of school folder. And then I want you to check your iPad and see if you have notes and the app Sketches available. And then we'll talk about next time what we can do with those. And I will have tutorials put up for how you can use them. I'm looking forward to doing art with you this year. Art class may be different. This entire situation is much different than anything we've ever done before. But it doesn't mean it's bad, and it doesn't mean we can't have fun. I'm looking forward to getting to know you this year. Enjoy your first week of school. Make good choices. And as I like to say, be different, but more importantly, be the difference. I'll talk to you soon.